What's up, Piston fans? It's your boy Flagrant Elbow back with another one. Tonight, the Detroit Pistons fall to the Boston Celtics. Boston with 128 and the Detroit Pistons 112. We're going to get into some things that happened this game that were good, of course, but a few things that were ugly in this loss. And don't get it twisted. The Boston Celtics are an elite team, especially defensive. In the league, they were playing without their top center Williams tonight, though. But still, they played a good all-around game defensively in his absence. But it does help when the team you're playing against can't make shots, and that's what the Pistons suffered from, especially starting the game off. So we'll talk about a few things and who my player of the game was for the Detroit Pistons. We'll get into all of that. I want to thank everybody for 623 subscribers. I appreciate all your support. Don't forget to check the link in the description for merchandise. If you'd like to purchase anything, remember, anything purchased, I will receive a commission for that, and that helps support the channel. So I appreciate all your support in that regard as well. But just listening, I appreciate that. If you like the video, hit the like button. It takes a second to do. If you're new to the channel, thank you for joining us. Just go ahead, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. That way you'll be notified when new videos come out. Once again, I appreciate all of your support. Let's go ahead and get into the video.
There was a moment where I was playing defense against Cade and he went to the hole and I got elbowed in the face, like the first possession.
Flagrant elbow.
That was, a welcome to NBA moment.
Yeah, the Pistons suffered a bad defeat now. They're 3-9 to the Boston Celtics, and it was bad. It was bad. They did show a lot of fight in at certain times of the games, but they just couldn't get any shots to fall. That first quarter, they were only down 8 points to finish the first quarter, but that was a large deficit. And even the second quarter, shots still weren't falling. Cade didn't score a point until the third quarter. So this game was a tough game. It was a tough game, a big time loss, but going against an elite team like the Boston Celtics, they were on full display tonight on their home court. They weren't going to allow the Pistons to come in there and walk away with an easy victory or an easy loss. It was going to be tough either way. Boston was going to put it on their neck, and that's what they did. Field goal wise, Detroit Pistons shot 41%, 37-89. Boston was 53%. 3-pointers. Pistons only made 7 out of 33. They shot 21% as a team. Boston shot 18 of 46. A few of those, that percent, they shot 39%. And that went down. It was around 40 when the starters were in there. But the second unit came in there and was chucking up threes, and that helped their deficit, helped their 3-point percentage to drop some. But they weren't missing for a while, especially early on that first half. I mean, Jason Tatum wasn't missing the whole game. Pistons did shoot 40 free throws. They had 40 free throw attempts. Boston had 21 free throw attempts. So that meant something, right? If you get 40 free throw attempts, that's the first time ever this season, of course, but even probably last season that they had that many free throw attempts. But it shows that they were making a concerted effort to get to the paint, And that's what you want your team to be able to do, especially when the 3-point shot isn't falling. So they showed some aggression there, but it still wasn't enough to hold off Boston or to stay close. Total rebounds, the Pistons out-rebounded Boston, 48 altogether with 15 offensive rebounds to Boston's 43-8. Pistons only had 15 assists to Boston's 31 assists. Why so low? Well, because nobody was making shots. So the assist number was definitely down. No one was making shots. Moving on to blocks, Pistons had 3 blocks. Boston had 4 blocks. Detroit had 7 steals to Boston's 6. Pistons kept their turnovers low for the first time. I think this season they had less turnovers than the opponent. They only had 10 turnovers and 12 for Boston. Points in the paint, the Pistons were right up there with Boston with 42 points in the paint. Once again, shows their aggression with trying to get to the basket. 3-pointers weren't dropping, so they did make an attempt. But they still, in my opinion, shot too many 3-pointers for the early part of the game when they weren't falling. The first half, they were just chucking up threes. Very, very, very little penetration. I think Saddiq Bey probably didn't even get the ball the whole first quarter. It was bad, and I wanted Sadiq to be that wrecking ball driving in the paint, and he did show that as the game progressed on. They started going. So once again, Pistons had 42 points in the paint to Boston's 46. Pistons also had less personal fouls, 18 to Boston's 25. So a few stats stand out to me when looking at this game. From the starter group, Beef Stew got a double-double, 12 points, 10 rebounds, and 20 assists in 20 minutes. Of course, he got early foul trouble, had to come out of the game. The refs started it off. I'm not going to get into the refs. We all know what it is. But one thing you hate to see is refs stop runs with ticky-tack foul calls. A few times the Pistons were down, started getting some runs and up, and then now the refs start blowing whistles. So that really, it just kills the run, kills the momentum. But it happens, right? Sadiq ended up with 18 points, 4 rebounds. Jaden Ivey, we'll get to in a minute. Let's go to Bojan. Bojan had 17 points. He started off shooting rough, but he ended up getting into a groove. Only 2 rebounds at power forward. At the power forward position, we're going to suffer with him at that position starting. But it's okay. We still need his scoring. But defensively, I'd rather Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duren or Bags get out there. But Cade Cunningham had finished the game with 4 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. He had a bad night. Only played 24 minutes. Jalen Duren, man child. He had 10 points, a double-double, 10 rebounds, 2 assists. He was out there doing this thing, and he had a block shot. Isaiah Livers, 3 points. Hamidou Diallo, 4 points, 2 rebounds. The refs was blowing the whistles every time he ran past somebody today, so it was a tough outing for him in the game. And now going to Killer Hayes. Killer Hayes did his thing tonight. He was very, very aggressive. He had 16 points, 2 rebounds, only 1 assist. No one was hitting shots, so we can understand why the assists were low. But he was very aggressive tonight. You like that out of Killian Hayes. Just pounding the ball inside, not passing up. He did pass up a wide open layup that he should have converted. But for him to come into the game averaging 2.9 points, shooting 20%, to finish with 16 points, 2 boards and assists on 7 of 12 shooting, he did his thing tonight. This was his best game of the season. So Hayes, he got the memo from somebody. He got the memo, and he came out there and was very, very aggressive. And you can see what type of a team the Pistons can be. If you got Cade firing on all cylinders, Bojan, Sadiq being that wrecking ball, Ivy doing his thing, and then you got Killer Hayes coming out there doing his thing too. It's so many ways that this team can be used, so many different lineups that this team could use. So the Pistons finished the game with 7 of 33 from 3-point shot, and they got outscored by 33 points from the arc. Boston was shooting threes left and right. Everybody was getting in on it. And the Hauser got in there, and all he was doing was shooting threes to get his 24 points for the most part. So it was a tough game for the Pistons. They definitely could use Alec Burks and his shooting, his scoring off the bench. So it's some things to look forward to in the near future. But for this game, we're going to wrap it up. This game is over with. We can look forward to the Knicks. And that's what the Pistons have to do. Don't hang your head down. Just hold your head up. Learn from it and move on to the Knicks. So a few things outside of just getting demolished. You accept that from a team like Boston Celtics because they're championship contending. They have some solid veterans, and they got all-stars galore on that team, and a defensive player of the year on that team. So that's an elite basketball team, offensively and defensively. And you expect the Pistons to lose, but the thing about it, you want them to compete. So not going to complain as much about losing to Boston as we can complain about competing, making shots, continually getting to the basket. The threes aren't falling. Switch the game up and get to the basket. One thing I didn't like about the game was it was a lot of standing around. To me, it was a lot of standing around. Casey's offense If you got shooters galore, which we do have some shooters, but if you got shooters galore, then I can understand that. And if Cade's going to be aggressive, getting to the paint, you know Ivy's going to be aggressive. I can understand players just standing around, but you know, getting late into the shot clock and somebody got to go one-on-one, that's not good basketball to me. You don't have 5 players on the team that can take somebody off the dribble. I will admit that Bojan is very good at one-on-one. Now, he surprised me with that. I think Greg Kelsler even said it too. He wasn't expecting that when we got Bojan. But still, you just don't want your players to fall that. You want them to have a fluid offense where someone's getting open, someone's cutting. Some activity has to be going on. You make it too easy for defenses to defend. Anyway, with that being said, I do want to get into who I felt was, even though the Pistons lost, who my player of the game was tonight. Killian was almost there. Killer Hayes was almost there, but Jaden Ivey was the player of the game for me. Jaden Ivey, he be everywhere. He's always everywhere. Wherever the ball is, he's there. Wherever the ball is. Now, will he get 10 rebounds every game? Not necessarily, but Ivey's the type of player that he can get a double-double in points and also any category. He can get a double-double in steals. He's aggressive and he's always all over the place. And one thing that really helped me to really look at this, look at Jaden Ivey as the player of the game. I mean, even early on, he didn't score much in the second half, but at the end of the first half, he had 14 points and 10 rebounds and 4 assists already. He was just aggressive all over the place. And on the defensive end, he's disruptive. He's disruptive on the defensive end too. So just looking at Ivey, doing the things that he's doing, using his speed, his quickness, and one thing that Casey said is they wanted him to use that also on defense, and you see him doing that. And he has that toughness in him. Ivey does not like to lose. He doesn't want to lose, and he looks like he takes it personal. He takes challenges personal, and he does what he has to do to try to win the game. Him and Brogdon were going at it for a minute before he got hurt. They were going at it for a minute. You can see Ivey pulling the ball back, letting everybody spread out, and taking them one-on-one. He was trying his best to just destroy him. So just seeing that toughness in Ivey, you know, it's gonna be some nights Cade gonna be the star. It's gonna be other nights Jaden Ivey gonna be the star. But we got a nice 1-2 punch here in Detroit, just like Boston has a nice elite 1-2 punch. So it's a lot to learn for the Pistons through this game. Hopefully the coaching can get with Cade and help figure out how best to get him active in the game. Remember, we talked about this before on a few other videos. Cade sometimes takes a back seat almost, it seems. Last season when Grant was on the floor, sometimes Cade would disappear at times. And sometimes when Ivey's on the floor, it seems as if Cade kind of disappears. And I don't know if that's as much scheme that Casey is running, the plays that he's running, but he has to figure out a way to get Cade in the best situation possible so that he can be aggressive. And I'm sure they'll figure that out. But whether it's helping him by means of setting solid screens, and I noticed that helps him a lot with his game, but something's going to happen to where he can continue to be aggressive as he has been for the last couple of games pretty much. Trying to be aggressive more for the whole game. And the Pistons are going to need that from him. Being the leader of the team, they're going to need him being aggressive and setting the tone offensively for the team. But Ivey definitely is my player of the game. All over the place, doing everything he could to try to put the team on his back and get this win. But Killian was right behind him. And Jalen Duren also. Jalen Duren is really showing who he is. A double-double today. He played 30 minutes, but he still got a double-double. And that's commendable. They have to figure out how to utilize him as a lob threat, and maybe that'll come in time as chemistry is built. But Jalen Duren is all over the place too. Always trying to get a block, always coming with the help defense. So when they figure out exactly how to use him as chemistry's built and the team gets to know each other better, we're going to see a lot of exciting things from them. So once again, Jaden Ivey's the star of the game. Sadiq Bey was right behind him with 18 points. Killer Hayes was right behind him with 16 points. Bojan, I'm sorry, was right behind him with 17. Killer Hayes had 16. Beef Stew and Jalen Duren had a double-double. I would like to see both of those play. I will say this, Casey did try to utilize some things toward the end of the game when the game was out of reach. He had Duran out there with Beef Stew, and they worked on Beef Stew's shooting threes, and he was able to drop one. So he shot a couple of them, and he was able to get one to fall. So they started working on some things. They even had Duran out there with Nerlens Noel, and I'd like to see what those type of lineups look like against some top-notch, a top-notch team, an elite team, as opposed to just bench players. So we know we want Bojan out there for scoring, but sometimes you got to use defense to help get things going. We got enough potential scorers on the team if things are clicking that you can go ahead and put the two bigs out there and just see how that rolls. But anyway, that's all I got tonight. Once again, thank you for 623 subscribers. Pistons lose to the Boston Celtics 128-112. My player of the game was Jaden Ivey. Thank you all for your support. Leave in the comments how you felt about the game. Who was your star player for the Pistons in this game? And I know we're all looking forward to the Pistons going to play the Knicks so we can get this one out of our memory. But let me know what you thought about the game. Everybody, with that being said, stay safe.